In this Blender tutorial, I'll show you how you can loop procedural textures in an animation. So I'm going to show you how you can loop a noise texture, so we'll be looping the seed value of the noise to make it loop in an animation. And then at the end of the video, we'll be creating this procedural lava material to show you an example of where this can be useful. And you can also purchase the tutorial project files on my Gumroad store and Patreon page, so the links are in the video description. So what I'm going to do is just delete everything here in the scene, and I'll go to the add menu and I'm just going to add an icosphere. Then right behind me on the icosphere settings, I'm going to turn the subdivisions up to like a 6 so it's nice and smooth and round, and then I'll use the object context menu and shade it smooth. Then I'm going to scale the object down by a 0.5. So it's just half the size, hit Control A, and we're going to apply the scale, so that's the new default scale. So let's now click over here to go to the shading workspace, and I'll add a new material. And I'll just call this looping noise. So what I want to do is delete the principled shader. Let's also go into the rendered viewport mode so I can just see this in the rendered view, and we're going to search for a noise texture. And I'm going to Control Shift select the noise texture to preview it. Now if we click on the 3D value right here, we can change this to 4D. And so this is basically going to give us a seed value because now we have this W value here. So now if I change the W value, you can see it's kind of generating randomly where the seed is. And so we're going to use this to animate the noise, but we're going to make it loop. Now for the other settings, you can just change this to whatever you want. So I'm going to turn the scale maybe to like a 2, and I can turn the detail up maybe to like a 4, and I can just keep the roughness how it is. So now I'm going to duplicate this noise texture. So hit Shift D to duplicate, drop it down here. And it's really important that all of the settings for this noise texture is exactly the same. The only thing that we're going to change is the W value. So for example, the scale should be the same value, the detail and the roughness, but the W value we're going to animate. So I'm going to click right up here and then drag down to split the window, and then I'll click and drag over and then let go. And then right up here, I'm going to change the editor type to the timeline so we can animate this. Now you can create your animation however long you want. I'm going to go with a 250 frame animation, which is 10 seconds in 24 frames per second. Now to preview these noise textures a little bit easier, I'm going to search for a color ramp and drop the color ramp here before the material output, and then I can just drag the values together so they're more contrasted, just for now so that we can kind of see the noise texture better. So I'm now going to animate the W value. So I'm going to turn this W value on the first noise texture to 1, and then make sure you are on frame 1. And then I'm going to hit the I key with my mouse hovered over the W. Then what I'm going to do is go all the way over, and we're going to go 1 frame after the end frame. So we're not going to go to 250, we're going to go to 251 because that's 1 frame after the end frame. Now why we're doing that is because if we animated it to 251, then frame 1 and 251 would look exactly the same, so it wouldn't be a perfectly seamless loop. So we're going to go 1 frame after the end frame. So now in this W value, you can turn this to whatever you want. I'm going to turn it to 2, and then I'm going to hover my mouse over the value and hit the I key. So now if I hit the spacebar to play the animation, you can see it's slowly starting to speed up, and then now as we get toward the end, it's kind of slowing down. So to fix this, I'll hit the A key in the timeline to select all the keyframes, and I'm going to hit the T key, and I'm going to click on linear here on the keyframe interpolation. This way, when I hit the spacebar to play, you can see that it's moving at a consistent speed and it's not speeding up and slowing down. Now the problem with this right now is that it's not actually looping, because at frame 1 and then at frame 250, the noise is just kind of random and it's different. So what we're going to do is mix between this noise texture, and so if I go over here to the very starting of the animation, the noise texture here is at a W value of 1. So what we're going to do is blend into this noise texture, and so at the very end, the end frame and the start frame have to be exactly the same, and so we're going to blend between it so that this noise texture ends at 1. So let's first go back to frame 1, so make sure you're on frame 1, and this W value, I'm going to leave at 0, and I'll hit I to inset a keyframe. Then I'm going to go here to the very end, and we actually want to go to 251, so 1 frame after the end frame, and now this W value, I'm going to turn to 1, and then hit the I key with your mouse hovered over it. So you can see at the very starting, this one is set to 1, and at the very end, this one is set to 1. Now I also want to make it linear, so if I just plug this noise texture factor into the factor here so I can preview it, if I hit the spacebar to play, it's really slow and then it speeds up. So we want to select the noise texture and then hit the A key in the timeline to select the keyframes, and I'll hit T, and we're going to change this to linear as well. So now what I want to do is blend between the two textures. So we start out with the first texture, but then we end with the second noise texture. So I'm going to select the color ramp and just delete it. So now what we're going to do is we're going to search for a mix color, and let's drop the mix color right here. And then it is important that you use the color value. If you don't want to use colors later, then you can just like use a color ramp to change the colors to make it black and white, but we want to use the color value. So the color is going to go into color A, and then this noise texture color is going to go into color B. And let's just Control Shift select the mix to preview it. So now what we're going to do is go back to frame 1 here on the timeline, and we're going to turn the factor all the way to 0. So it's just using the top one. You can see if I Control Shift select this noise texture and preview the color, and then Control Shift select this mix, you can see it looks exactly the same. But then if we turn it up to 1, it's only going to use this noise. So on frame 1, we're going to turn the factor to 0, and we're going to hit I to inset a keyframe. Then we're going to do the same thing. So go 1 frame past the end frame. So in my case, that's 251. Then we're going to turn the factor all the way up to 1. So it's using the second noise, and we're going to hit the I key. Now again, I want to make this a linear animation so it doesn't speed up and slow down. So select the mix, then hit A to select the keyframes, and we're going to hit T, and we're going to set this to linear. So now when I play this, it's kind of hard to see. You can't really see it doing much because it's kind of gray, but it's switching between this noise to this noise. Now what I can do is make it a bit more contrasted. So I'm going to search for a color ramp and put it here after the mix. And now I can drag these values together to make them more contrasty, so you can kind of see the noise now. Now if I go all the way to 251, you can see it's a perfectly seamless looping animation. And why it's a perfectly seamless looping animation is because if I get to the very end, 250, it's using this noise texture. And if I go to 251, you can see it's set to 1. So it's using this noise at 1. But then it immediately jumps back to frame 1. And at frame 1, it's using this noise, which has the exact same values. So the scale, roughness, and detail are the same. And this W is set to 1. And as I mentioned, it is really important that like the scale, the detail, and roughness and other values are exactly the same. Because if I were to like change the scale and make this one bigger, now the two textures aren't exactly the same. So if I go back to the starting, you can see suddenly it gets smaller. Now, if you do want to play around with these values and change both of them, a really easy way to do this is to search for a value node. And I'll drop the value here. So I could turn this value to like 2, and then I could put it into the scale, and then put this one into the same exact scale value. So now what I can do is click on this value node and press F2 to rename it, and I can type in scale and hit enter. So now if I play the animation, you can see I can change the scale here, but since I'm changing the scale for both noise textures at the same time, it's perfectly seamless because the scale is the same. So what I could also do is hit Shift D to duplicate this value node, and then hit F2 to rename this, and I could call this roughness. Then I could put this one into this roughness, and I'll turn this to 0.5, which was the roughness, and then I could put this one into the same roughness. So now if I play this, you can see I can change the roughness value. I'll do that one more time, so I'll hit Shift D to duplicate, and then I'll hit F2 to rename this, and I can call this detail. Then I can put this one into this detail, and this one into this detail, and then this detail was at a value of 4. So now I can play around with the detail, and I can play around with the roughness and the scale, but you can see whenever it gets to the very end, it's a perfectly seamless looping animation. So this is super useful for creating looping animations, and one example of where this could be useful is for creating like a cool lava effect. So what I'm going to do is search for emission, so that it is emitting light, and then what I'm going to do is just search for a normal principled shader. Now I want to mix these two together, so what I can do is just search for a mix shader, drop this here, and the emission can go into the top one, and the principled can go into the bottom one, and then I'll just Control Shift select the mix shader. Now for the principled shader, I'm just going to make it a basic rock color, so I'm going to make it kind of like orange, and then turn it darker so it's kind of like a brown color, and maybe I'll turn the roughness up. Now for the emission here, what I'm going to do is put the mix result here. I'm going to put that into the color, and then I'll duplicate this noise texture. So hit Shift D, and we're going to drop it here. And now we can make the different colors for the emission. So for example, I'm going to make this kind of like a light red color. And then this one here, this one is going to be a darker red. And we can play around with like the contrast and things. So that's going into the emission. And then for the emission strength, I'll turn this up to like a 30 so that it's emitting light. Now the factor here is going to blend between using the principled shader, which is more rocky, and then the emission shader, which is like the glowing lava. But what I can do is I can take this color ramp color and I can put that into the factor. And then just to see this a little bit better, I can change the color ramp values. So kind of like that. So now you can see these darker parts are the rock, but then the lighter orange parts, that's the emission. So that's kind of like the lava. So it kind of looks like some bubbling lava, but I'm gonna make the rock less visible, so I'll drag these out so they're less contrasted. And then to make this look even more interesting and make it look even more like lava, I can search for the displacement node. We're gonna put the displacement into the displacement of the material output. And then what we can do is just take this mix here, so the looping noise, and we're gonna put the result into the height value. Then what we want to do on the materials panel is we want to close these settings. Let's open up the settings, and then we're going to open up the surface here, and on the displacement, I'm going to change this to displacement and bump. And then what we can do is just change the displacement scale. So you can see as I turn this up more and more, you can now see it's displacing the mesh, and it looks pretty detailed because if I go into edit mode, we have a detailed object. So now if I play this, you can see we have a really cool kind of bubbling lava effect. So now if I were to render out all the frames and then put them in Blender's video editor and set the end frame to 250, you can see now when it gets to the very end, it jumps to the very starting, but it's a perfectly seamless looping animation. So I hope you found this video helpful, and thank you for watching. And if you'd like to help support the channel and purchase the tutorial project files, you can get that on my Gumroad and Patreon. Links are in the description. And if you like using procedural materials in your projects, then definitely check out my Ultimate Blender Procedural Material Pack, which comes with all of my procedural materials, and they're all preset up for Blender's asset browser with custom thumbnails, sorted catalogs, and customizable node groups. And I also update the material pack with new materials every time I make 10 new materials. And you can check out my Blender procedural material tutorial playlist to learn how to create any of my materials. So I hope you found this helpful, and thank you for watching.